Welcome to The Good Life. Thank you for stopping by. I'm Patrick Harney. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, hit the notification button so you can be alerted when an episode comes out and get all that stuff out of the way, right? Because we need to get to the episode, because I have a very, very special human being. His name is Aaron Noble. He's more than an actor. He's an awesome person. He's a thinker. He's a believer. He believes in the good of people, and he's incredibly positive and uplifting. He's funny. He's got some great stories, and we talk about a whole smorgasbord of things. I mean, on this episode, we just kind of go like off the rails, but it's a really fun episode, and I'm excited for you all to listen and or watch. So let's get to it. All right, and we are live. Aaron, thank you for being here, brother. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for the invite, my man.
Yeah, dude. So I wanted to have you on because I've always thought that you were an incredibly positive, optimistic, and just interesting individual. You're an actor, and a good-looking one at that.
As are you.
That hairline, man, I'm jealous.
Shiny forehead.
So, and we're actually going to be working together.
Yes, we are.
Coming up here this summer on a little film called One Reckless Weekend.
Yes.
Which I'm super hyped about, dude. It's a completely outrageous comedy. It's kind of Hangover-esque, and
a
yeah,
little super bad in there.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Yeah, you're right. There's a little bit
grotesque,
a little bit of super bad. Yeah, I mean, because I was trying to figure out. I was like, yeah, okay, it's like The Hangover, but it's like something else too, and I couldn't figure that out. But you're right, it is like super bad.
Super bad, McLovin.
Yeah, dude.
You could be that guy. You could be McLovin.
No, I'm too big. I'm too tall.
Yeah, come to find out, when you got casted for your role that we are in together, you weren't expected to be 6'12".
Yeah, dude. I show up to the table reading, and everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, you're so tall." I was like, "I'm 6'4". Like, it's not that tall.
Not me. I know what to expect. I just didn't warn anybody.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because it's interesting because sometimes that can be a deterrent. I mean, there's been times where my height has been a problem in the casting process, and so
yeah,
it's a beautiful thing about self-tapes is
yes, it is. Yes,
just let it be a nice surprise when you already get offered the job. So how you been, man? You been doing good?
Well, I've been good. Let me put it that way.
All right.
I've been good. Very, very busy. Very busy. As you know, like, the film industry is busy. Michigan is just, it can be, it can't be. There are some gigs outside of Michigan, which is great, which we can get into a little later. But my 9-to-5 job is I'm a special needs teacher for a school. And so with that being said, that is a lot to take care of. And, there's a lot of legalities that we've had to work out. Yeah. Lately, just different students with different needs that, yeah. So actually today I work with one guy in particular after school, 3 days a week, typically. I was on the way over to work with him, and I'm driving, and suddenly I just hear this underneath my car. And I just knew it. It just sounded like a highway slap. So I get to my location and end up, I'm not helping out today. So, okay, fine. But then I get a low tire signal on my car. And okay, great. So I get out, I check it out. No big deal. I just got all my tires pumped. I just got an oil change yesterday. Should be good. Look in the back, and there's a big piece of metal. Yay big. From yay Detroit streets. So finally get over to the right place, get some air in it. It was great. But, I got an hour and a half to wait. So what am I going to do? So I walk to a grocery store, and after that, I hit up some Mark Wahlburgers. And you can never go wrong with a little bit of Mark Wahlberg love. Can you?
No, you know what? I haven't tried it. I've always wanted to, but I haven't tried Wahlburgers. I've heard it's pretty good though.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like one of those things. You ever had Chick-fil-A?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Some people don't get the hype, other people love the hype, and I like the sauces. That's just what I'm in for.
Okay. All right. Do you hear that, Mark? Donnie? Paul?
You hear that?
From
I hope
Wahlburgers?
so.
Because if you want to
Wahlburgers.
just like they just wanted to sponsor the show, that'd be sweet. So that'd be dude, get out of here.
What? What's so funny?
Oh,
There's
that's
something on my cup.
awesome. That's awesome, dude. Okay, for everybody listening, my man just like casually pulled up this solo cup to take a drink, and written on it, it says Patrick equals stud. Dude,
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's
yeah.
freaking
It's because I
awesome.
love you. That's just what it is.
That's hilarious, dude.
There.
Well,
No,
thank you
but
for
I
that,
am
buddy.
honestly, I'm really. You're welcome. I'm very excited for your part in this movie that we're in together, man.
Dude,
You blew my mind, brother. Just at
thank
the
you.
table reading, because I've seen you act in a few things, but watching you just get into this character, oh my word, people need to hire you more
Oh, man, well, thank
and
you
more.
very much. Thank you very much, dude. Can we talk about your table read?
Ah, that old thing.
So you're playing this. I mean, we can't talk much about
Right.
the
Be
story of the
limited.
characters themselves, but your character is so outrageous, and this is a kind of character that like I would love to play one day,
Yeah,
where like there is no boundaries really.
yeah.
You can push it as far as you want, and you did in the table read. You did, and it was freaking awesome, dude.
Thank you.
Like
Thank you. Oh,
like
it would be crazy.
well, because I was sitting next to you, and I think the whole point of your character, not the whole point, but in terms of the relationship to the other characters that's in the scene with you, or the other character that's in the scene with you, it gets uncomfortable for that character
Yes. Oh, very
because of the mental state that you're in. And being next to you, I was getting uncomfortable because I was like, oh man, I was like, I can feel every part of this, and I'm not even in this scene. You know what I mean? Like it was awesome. It was awesome. Well
Thank
done,
you.
sir.
Was
I
it
cannot
the
wait to
part
see
where
it.
I jumped behind you, jumped over my chair, or was it the jumping on my chair, almost jumping on the table? Which part was it?
I think it was well when the table was really when you got the table really rocking. I was like, oh, I was like, this man's gonna knock it. He's gonna flip this table, and I'm a part of this table. So
My
yeah, dude.
apologies.
No, man. It was perfect. I'm not saying that as a bad thing. It's a great thing. I'm really excited to see what you do with the character. Um, yeah, man. It'll be a lot of fun.
It really will be. And you had your first filming weekend, right? This past weekend.
Yeah, we did day one.
Awesome. Went
With
well.
it went really well. Yeah, with the one and only Omar Gooding.
Yeah.
We got to film with him. He was a really cool guy. Really nice. We had a little bit of a delay to start. Um, but it's day one. It You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Of
Like there's
course.
always something, and but we finished on time, like
It's awesome.
that we were going to try to. So um man, he was funny. We were
Uh,
ad-libbing, and uh it was really fun to play off of him and to just play off of each other. Um
yes. I'm jealous. I'm not gonna lie.
it was cool. And then you know, it was man, it got so hot in that house. First of all, the house that we were at was stunning,
Oh yeah.
absolutely stunning. Um, but it was funny because at one point, like we had turned the air off because it was super loud. Well, it was pretty hot that day. And
Yeah.
outside there was a nice breeze. It was like low 70s. Well, when you get inside in the room that we were filming at one point that we checked the internal temperature, it was like 82 degrees in there or something like that.
And it wasn't
And
really the hottest weekend, but in the house.
yeah, it was hot. But it was really cool. I'm excited to see that scene.
So,
Um,
and we got
but
some big hitters. We got some big hitters in this film.
yeah, man, I'm
Yeah, we're
excited.
not allowed to say, but
Exactly, but I'm excited for those to get announced because this will be a really cool cast. It'll be a really fun cast. Um, and I'm excited too because there's a lot of people in this film that I didn't know were going to be in it that
yeah.
I know and that you know that we've worked with before. You know, um, so yeah, it'll be nice to work with some familiar faces and also get to meet some new ones. And
Absolutely.
and I always like meeting the crew, like new crew members. I always love just chatting it up with them because
Yeah.
they always have the funniest things to say, the funniest stories, or you know, I don't know. I sometimes I feel like I get along better with the crew than I do some
Yeah.
of the
Oh,
other cast. You
absolutely.
know?
I'm the same, man. And for me, I love the behind the scenes stuff. For me,
Hmm.
I like being in front of camera. But my big, my big reality for why I actually want to get into film is just, just serve the people behind the scenes. And if I'm
Yeah.
not serving people behind the scenes or having this conversation, then what am I doing?
Yeah.
So, but it's awesome to act and to get that notoriety or the perks that come with it. But I don't know. It's just that's not all that it is.
No.
The people are awesome. And like you said, like you are a very genuine person. That's something I appreciate about you. And you talk with people so well, you connect with people, you break down walls, they trust you. That is such a good gift. And especially see all the stuff going on in our world, you see it in the industry. It's so needed.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for saying that. And you are the same way. And I'm not one of those people that will like return the compliment because I feel obligated. Like I mean it. If I don't feel the same way, I won't say it,
See,
But
that's what I'm talking about. You're
but
real.
but you are though. I mean, you're somebody that you have a certain energy that people gravitate toward, you know? Um, maybe it's the jawline, I don't know, but it's No, I'm
I
kidding.
don't think.
Oh
I don't
no.
know. I'm getting
But
old, so
no,
it's gonna
but
go away at some point.
well then I'll take it because damn, I gotta put a beard just to get the jawline. But anyway,
Yeah, get the big beard.
yeah, well, and it was funny because I remember when I was talking to Isaiah, he was saying that Ben's got to be clean shaven. That's the character. That's the
Oh
name of
yeah.
my character. And I was like, man, I don't look good clean shaven. He's like, no, no, no,
Uh-huh.
it'll be fine. I was like, no, you really don't understand. And I lose like half of my face. And he said, no, 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 like it's fine. It's a comedy. I'm like, yeah, but I'm the
You're
lead.
not understanding us.
Yeah, it's like, but it's fine. Um, but yeah, man. So I do want to talk about that a little bit. What got you into act?
What? Like, what's so funny?
Nothing, dog,
I don't
man.
get it.
Um you just quenching your thirst. That's all.
Exactly.
Again, the
Just
cup comes
water.
up and instead of saying what it said before, now it says hi mom. Do you have multiple cups there?
You'll find out.
Guess we'll find out. So what got you into acting? How did you get bit by that bug?
You want the long version or the short version? I'll give you the medium version.
All right.
So
Interesting.
yeah, so I was an athlete growing up. My whole family's athletes. Um,
What sports?
ever since everything,
Yeah.
including knitting and kickball. I was a knitting champion. I was
Yeah.
homeschooled a little bit too. So yeah, the only prom date I ever had was my mom. But she was cool. She's really pretty. Yeah, so with that baseball, football, basketball, track, ran some cross country, which that is a whole story. Um,
Oh gosh.
basically I went and watched this girl. You know how it gets in
Mm,
middle school. You go for the girl, you got to show off for the girl.
yeah.
And the cross country coach has been asking me for a while, hey, you're playing football. Why don't you try cross country at the same time? Nah, I'm over that, but I'm a runner. I've always run long distance. Again, I'm a family. So he gave me some shorts and I wanted to impress this girl. So
So you
if you know
got
anything
extra
about,
smalls and you're just like, hey, what's
oh
up?
boy, what was that? Was it Juno? Was that the movie? Running. So bad. Aaron, stop it. Anyway, so yeah, so I got my shorts and I got my jersey and I was wearing some tennis shoes, thankfully. And if anybody out there knows about cross country, you don't start off as hard as you possibly can. I'm a sprinter. That's what I did in track. I was a runner. You don't
Same.
run as hard as you can. Right. That's good to know. Okay. You'd probably get there faster than me. You got
Yeah.
longer legs.
I was much better in like the open 200
Mhm.
than I would have been in the open one. So I didn't run
Yep.
the open one. I ran the 4x1, the 4x2, and the open 200. But anyway, continue. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Okay. You ever try to 800?
God, no. I tried the 4x4 and I didn't want to do it, but my coach put me in it and I almost threw up 3 times on the track because I had never trained. I'd never trained for a 400. I had always
Yeah.
trained for a 200, so I would run like 300 meters and sprint 300 meters. But yeah, man. Anyway,
You're a smart man. You're a smart man. Yeah. So, man, with this situation in 8th grade, it was great. I just had to show off for this girl.
course.
That's how you win a girl's heart, I guess. So
Yeah, dude, you show out, man.
yeah, well, and the thing was, I don't know what the seniors were trying to tell me on the team, but they're saying you want to get a pace, you want to get a position. Okay, cool. These are like state runners, they're incredible runners. So I get out there and I remember after the race, but all I see is this blur because I take off sprinting. And so the first 200 meters, you just hear this, what? You're just passing. I get about half a mile in and there's this W hill. So you have to run up, down, up, down, up, down. There's people literally falling down it. I hit that W hill. There's no way. I was Saving Private Ryan on the beach, up that hill, down that hill, tripping, falling for the rest of the sinking race. So finally, out of like 200, it was co-ed. Out of maybe 200 runners, I came in 47th, I believe.
Oh,
which still not too bad. Not
for a
too bad.
Sprinter?
Yeah. Not to brag or anything, but my shoulders are being dusted.
Yeah, dude. Just kind of nice, man. 47 out of 200. Sheesh.
Again, I'm not bragging.
So you were one of those kids growing up that you were just like good at every sport you tried.
My older brother was. I was just an angry kid.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, it's funny because, and we'll get back to that, but it's funny because when I had, so I ran track all through middle school and then 1 year in high school. Middle school, it was great because like our coach was like, he pushed us and we practiced hard. And like in 8th grade, I was on a 4x1 team that broke a 40-year-old record, a 4x2 team that broke a 40-year-old record.
Let's go.
And actually the 4x1 team, we broke the record twice, 2 meets in a row. We broke our own record. And I'm not saying this to be like, oh yeah, like we were super cool.
Yes, you are. And it's
but
okay.
no, but like then we got to high school. We got freshman year of high school. And like I said, I ran the 4x1, the 4x2, and the open 200. Freshman year of high school, I get there and the coach, I won't say his name, really nice guy. I actually do really like the guy. But I don't think he really cared that much about track. He was a football coach.
Okay.
And we didn't practice quite like how I needed or how I wanted. And he would try to say, you're gonna run the 300 hurdles. Joke. Not flexible at all. The 4x4 and the 4x8. And I said, well, I'm a sprinter, and he goes, well, I don't need sprinters because our seniors are sprinters and we're good. Right. I was like, yeah, but like by the time I get to be a senior, I need to make sure that I'm good for that too. So like practice makes sense. And like, let's do it. And he said, no. Well, I got kind of pissy because like track was not my main thing. Basketball was my main thing. It was basketball, the musical, and then track was just like for fun in the spring to keep me busy.
Yeah.
And so I remember he had me do the 4x4, and that was the time where I almost puked 3 times just on my lap, Yeah. And then I got to a point where he put me in the open 300 hurdles, and I told him, I said, if you put me in that, I'm going to scratch it. I'm not going to show up to it. I was like, trust me, you don't want that. And he goes, no, you'll be fine. Just try it out. I was like, okay. So I scratched it. And then I told him we were going to the MSU. It was the Spartan Invitational, and their outdoor track is a 200-meter track. So it's kind of weird, right? Or wait, no, it's not. I'm sorry. Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't remember. But anyway, it's irrelevant. So I told him, I said, just put me in the open 200. I promise you I will not come in last. And there was 9 lanes, 8 lanes. And he put me in the first heat. And with some of our sprinters that are like, they were top dogs. I'm in lane 8. Awful. Because it always starts staggered. You start all the way up in the front ahead of everybody.
Well, you feel good at that moment, but
yeah, you feel good in that moment. But like my bread and butter was always lane 3 or 4 because I needed to know I had a couple people chasing me, but I also needed to have a couple people to chase.
Yes, absolutely.
Gun goes off. Strategy. And I'm like, oh yeah, here we go. I'm running. And then just I'm I'm like, no, no. And I'm just seeing these bodies just fly. And I see this one guy that's like level with me. And I was like, and I kind of took a peek back, and he was it. That was
Yeah.
it. There was no one else behind him. And I was like, no. I was like, I said I
I'm not
wasn't going to come
laughing.
in last. I'm not doing this, right? I'm running. Boom. I come in 7th. I beat this guy by like a stride and a half. And I went up to my coach, like, feel like I'm going to die. And I'm like, I didn't come in last. And I just turned and walk away. And he was like, yeah,
See,
good
that's all
job,
that
Harney.
matters.
Oh, man.
Here's why.
Yeah.
Equals.
Yeah, there you go.
Patrick equals stud.
Oh, there you go. But yeah, dude, that's my
Wow,
that's my track story.
dude,
But
I'm proud
I
of you.
remember in middle school I had a sprained ankle, and I for the 4x2 and the 4x1, I always ran like the longest leg
Yeah,
because especially for the 4x2, because inevitably what would happen is I would get it at the beginning, and we did this strategically, just because the 4x2 I felt like I was pretty good at.
yeah,
I'd get the baton at the beginning of the exchange, and then I'd give it off at the very end of the exchange.
right.
That was just what we did.
Yeah.
And I was the second leg, and I had a sprained ankle one day, and I told my coach, I was like, I don't think I can run. I was like, I can't do this. And he looked at me, he's like, oh no, you'll be fine. I said, no, coach, like I could barely walk. I can't run. And he looked at me, and he said, all I need, like, you can scratch the whole rest of the day, but I just need this one. We need these points. Just give me one. Just push it. Just give me one, and we'll be fine. I'm in middle school,
Wow,
dude. Right?
wow. The bone's sticking out of my ankle, coach. What do you?
Yeah.
Just do it.
Just wrap it
Just
up. It's
run.
fine.
Yeah. Spit white dirt on it.
I got my best split that I ever had.
Are you for real?
Yeah.
Wow.
I got my best split that I ever had. I ran a 23-4, 23-5, 200 split on a sprained
Okay.
ankle. And I remember my coach afterward came up to me, and he goes, what? So what? I just got to kick you in the ankle every time, like before you run? Like, what the hell was that?
Apparently.
And I told him, I said, because I wanted to get it over with. And he was like, well, have that in your mind every time you run, then just want to get it over with. Yeah,
That's
man.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. The coach is amazing, but he knew how to push you beyond yourself.
Dude, that coach, his name is Joe Dutcher. Mr. Dutcher, you're out there. He also coached me in
Mr. Dutcher.
basketball 8th grade. He was also my science teacher in 6th grade and 8th grade. Super, super cool. Just 6th grade, but super cool guy. And yeah, actually, I remember in 6th grade, he knew I was a big Notre Dame fan because he's also a big Notre Dame fan. And he went to a game and brought back a Notre Dame football towel, like that they would hand out to everybody.
Right.
In the stands. And he brought back one for me and gave it to me,
No.
and I still have it.
He's awesome.
Yeah,
That's so
super,
cool.
super cool guy.
So you could say that this guy was really an impact in a lot of ways on you.
He was, yeah. He kind of helped fuel my my fire for sports, like in the school setting, because at that point, we didn't really have school sports yet. And so going into that, it was different than like the junior pro basketball or the travel leagues or whatever. It was different. But he also showed me like what it meant to like work hard for track, on having to push yourself when the coach
Even a
isn't always
broken ankle.
watching. Yeah, but I mean, like, even like when the coach isn't always watching, because what they would do is they'd give you your assignments for like training, and then they'd send you off. So we had that freedom to kind of learn how to train on our own, and be disciplined in that sense. So yeah, man, he was awesome. He was cool.
That is so good. And those are the people that really stick with you for the rest of your life. I had a guy, Mr. Ayers, Mr. Arthur Ayers in high school. Arthur Ayers. He was actually a radio. That's right. He actually did, because he was a radio disc jockey for years.
Hello, my name is Arthur Ayers.
On the air. Super good guy. Genuine. He's that guy. He's a teacher. Hey, Mr. Ayers, can I use the bathroom? I really got to go really bad. He'll go, no. I'm just kidding. Hey, Mr. Ayers, can I borrow a pencil? He'll look up at you, roll up his sweater sleeves. He always had his sweater sleeves up. Even if it was 90 degrees, he had the sweater sleeves rolled up. Always, no matter what. Hey, Mr. Ayers, can I borrow a pencil? Can I get some help for a minute? Always that answer. No, of course not. Go sit down. I'm just kidding. Come here. What do you need? So just a fun guy. But the guy was not only a disc jockey, but he did a lot of the drama. So he actually had a lot of elective classes that were for drama classes. So reverting back to your question earlier, what got me into acting, I think that when I was 12 years old, I remember it very distinctly. I'm sitting in the library. And yes, I was homeschooled, but then I went to public school like 8th grade-ish.
Okay. Oh, that's a tough entrance right there.
Yeah.
Tough year, man.
Well, I mean, and the thing was, like, my dad was a traveling pastor and evangelist, and so we visit a lot of states, seen a lot of church, a lot of different faces, different people, which is great. And I think that that's what kept me very social. A lot of people might disagree. I might have a little issue, I don't know, social problems. But the reality is that I think that reaching out, seeing those different people my entire life really, really helped with a lot. Because as a homeschooler early on, we still played sports. And that was so crucial. Because if we didn't have that outlet of sports, it'd be such a different thing. My older brother, like I said, my younger brother, myself, we were always into sports. But something in me just wasn't as attracted to sports as I saw both my brothers. So they loved it. And my older brother, I lived with him for a bit. And here's him. He gets home from work. I get home from work when we were living together. Hey, just give me like an hour to watch ESPN and then I'll be good. On ESPN, he's got the app. He's always checking. That's fine. That's his thing. Wasn't my thing. So, I would always keep up on the sport, just, so we can have that sports conversation because we've always been athletes. But back to 12 years old, I'm sitting in this library and I get this assignment on mass media. I just remember writing it out. I was like, man, it's really interesting. It's really kind of, I even remember at that point understanding the corruption of media just from 12. And so from that age, it was, for some reason, it never left me alone. It literally just chased me my entire life. And so I actually did theater in high school, did musicals. And I want to hear about your musicals. You sang, right? You sing?
Yeah.
Man, I could hear that in your voice.
Oh, that's funny. Thank you.
Yeah. So
I mean, thank you very, very much. I appreciate
don't do that.
it.
You're making me sweat. It's getting hot in here.
Anyhow, sorry.
Man, I need another drink of water.
Oh, geez. iHEART Rob E. What's up? A little shout out to Rob E. Tack on show.
Not to give a shout out on your show, but
what up, man, we can always shout out anybody, especially Rob E. Rob E's my boy.
He's a genuine person too. I just love it.
He might be one of the most genuine people I think I've ever met in my life. And I mean that.
True.
He's like, everything that he does, he's always looking to, if he's looking to better himself, he's equally trying to better someone else at the same time.
Absolutely. He's always available.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I love. He's there in the present. That I've learned.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not married to him, but from what I've experienced, is that he's always there. He's always been like, I was traveling a lot last week, and then we're ADD right now, so it's okay.
Yeah, we're all over the place. It's completely off the rails. There are no rails. We're just flying.
That's right. We're falling off the cliff. Someone give us a parachute.
It's all good.
Every time I go to the airport, I'll text Rob, "Hey, where are you at?" Because he works out there.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Hey, where are you at? Are you here? Are you working? Whatever." And he's always so stinking busy because he's keeping everybody safe. He's kind of a big deal at the airport, but he's always got time to just chat for a minute and be like, well, next time just give me a bigger heads up and I'll let you know, or I can come upstairs. But yeah, I mean, he's always making time. He's always just, again, he's such a creative person, and I love that about him.
Yeah.
So anyway, Rob, you're amazing. Thanks.
Love you, buddy. All right, enough about Rob anyway.
Yeah. He's really not that big of a deal. We just wanted to hype him up for a minute.
Yeah, back to 12, being super self-aware and hyper-aware of the corruption of media. Go ahead.
Yeah. It was just nuts. It's just like, it was innate from such a young age. So being very conscious of myself from a young age and who I am and how I feel. I've always just been really good with my feelings and reading people. That's very helpful. So it just followed me and followed me and followed me. And again, like I could hold my own on sports. My older brother was all nation, everything, all state, everything. But what I love about my brother, my older brother, both of them are just incredible athletes, but incredible men as well. So props to my older brother because, just growing up with my parents, they didn't really have parents. My mom was the oldest of 10. My dad was like somewhere in the middle of 7. So it's just a lot of really impossible situations that my parents came out of. Yeah. So, they were the first generation of breaking all kinds of chains. So just for my brothers and I to kind of churn out how we are, just that in itself is a cool thing. But that was the thing about my parents also is they did their best with what they had. And I think that's a reality for all parenting, but just, I don't know, just watching their ability to just love, and my dad and his ability to just love and give, even though he was not necessarily taught it or showed it, he was still just constantly, he was at every sporting event, every choir concert, everything, never missed, which was consistency. And I think as a man, that showed me how to be consistent. And I appreciate that. It showed me how to work. My mom is a very faithful woman. She's very consistent in her ways as well. But my older brother, though, man, he was one of the hardest workers. He was like the Michael Jordan, LeBron James type person.
Oh, wow.
He is that person that you almost feared. He was the fastest in the class, and they actually had duels against each other. I think it was like Waterford or somewhere here in Michigan. They had this really fast guy as well. So in the news back and forth, it was just those two. Our guy's faster than your guys. Our guy's fast. So my older brother outran this guy on the football field running the ball. And so we're like, our guy's faster. Cool. But anyway, so with that being said, my older brother has just always been such an independent, hardworking person. And just, he wanted people to be better than him. And that was such a cool humility because he could totally whoop anybody, but then he uses his gifts and his superpowers to enhance and help other people. Okay, this is what I learned. You don't have to follow me, but do this. I did what I could. Our bodies were kind of limited as much as we could, but this dude he's always been very, very strong and just very, very fast. So then my younger brother's kind of the same. My younger brother was just a sassy brat, and he'll tell you that to this day. So
he's the youngest.
Josh.
He's the youngest.
I have a cup for you, Josh. He is. And you're supposed to be. And he'll admit that. But I wasn't the easiest to deal with either. I was stubborn. Again, I was very in tune with my emotions, but I wasn't always. There were times when, you misread.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just really learning like anybody else how to balance life and who I am and finding my identity and just whatever. So within that, I think that throughout life, I learned a lot of lessons that have really pushed me. And so fast forwarding as far as the acting and whatnot goes, all the sports came through and went to college and I ran some track and it was great. I went to Spring Arbor University. Great little college out there in Jackson.
Yeah, I almost played basketball there, actually.
Did you really?
Yep.
That would have been awesome.
Cool campus.
What year did you? Yeah.
What's that?
Spring Arbor in Jackson.
Yeah.
You say what campus?
No. I said cool campus.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have all my money, so it better be a cool campus.
Yeah.
Just being real.
Ooh, they were expensive. Yeah. Part of the reason why I didn't go there. Yeah, dude. Yeah, man. It's crazy how life lessons. You don't realize the life lessons that you have learned until later on, and you can fully understand what that lesson is. Wow, hold on. That sentence that I was gonna say was not gonna make sense at all.
You can do this. I believe in you.
You can be. Oh gosh, you can be in a tough situation in your life, learn a lesson from it, but not fully understand the whole clarity of that lesson until years later.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
was trying to say.
That was well said.
Thank you. And that's happened to me many, many times.
Yeah.
You know,
How
like,
did that make sense in that moment? It doesn't make any sense. And then in hindsight, you look back in the rearview mirror and you're like, oh, I get it. I
yeah,
see now. That makes sense
exactly.
to me now.
Exactly.
Because you
And
grew. You weren't ready to receive that lesson at the moment or to understand the language that was being spoken at the time. So you had to go through the language translation. And once you get to that point, oh, okay, now I understand what it means. And that's just lessons that you've learned along the way that finally allowed you to understand.
well, and sometimes you can even be in a situation like in the present where you learn a lesson and you're like, wait a minute, was it the same
Right.
thing from
Right.
years
Yeah.
ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. So you said that you were an angry child growing up.
Yeah.
Man,
I think it's
sorry.
just
I got this thing in my throat. I don't know what it is.
you need some water.
Yeah,
Here.
thanks.
Just again, another shout out to mom. It's her fault I am who I am.
But so you said you were kind of an angry child. I was an incredibly emotional child. In the sense of like I wouldn't cry all the time, but I would get very upset at the smallest things. I had a very thin skin growing up, you know, and because of that, I was kind of a target. You know, I mean, yes, I was bigger than everybody. I mean, I was 5 feet tall in third grade, but
You have a beard?
no, that didn't. No facial hair came until middle school. But yeah, but I was very like I didn't. I cared so much about what people thought of me.
Mm-hmm.
And so if anybody started to mess with me at all, I'd get so upset because in my head that translated to
They don't like me.
yeah, they don't like me, I'm not good enough, all that stuff. And I also grew up with a stutter, and I still have it sometimes, like if I'm really tired.
No way.
Oh yeah.
Seriously?
Oh yeah.
Do not hear it at all. You're
Well,
kidding me.
well, I go quick now, and I've learned to avoid certain words or avoid starting a sentence in a certain way, or sometimes if I take a moment to think before I respond, sometimes that is me knowing that I have a bad tendency that day to stutter, so I'll really think through and force everything that I'm saying so that way I don't stutter. You know what I mean?
Wow. That's so fascinating. Patrick, you're fascinating. That's incredible.
Thank you. Thanks.
Wow.
It sucked growing up though. And I remember there was one kid,
for sure.
There was one kid that and he and I ended up being good friends later, but I remember I was saying something and he was like, "Oh, did you?" And I got so mad, and so I just socked him right in the gut and just folded him like a piece of paper. And I said, "Don't ever say that again." And he's like, "Oh man, I'm so sorry. I was just kidding."
Yeah, well, those words, they affected you clearly.
Yeah, they did.
But that's the reality though too, man. It's like we already have a built-in time bomb, you know, all that pressure that's just sitting in there waiting to explode. Because again, like when you're at that age, you don't know who you are. You don't know how to communicate what you want to say because you don't know how to say it. You feel like you're on the stage and everybody's literally watching every move you're making, though a lot of times they're not. But you just become so self-aware and so self-conscious. Oh crap, if I mess up or if my hair's out of place or if I shave my eyebrows, which I shouldn't, I just saw it online or something the wrong way and it's too much. So they made that up. I'm just saying. You become so
but you can become so hyper aware of every little detail about yourself. And I've had those moments, you know, where I'm like, I go to do my hair and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm still okay. I'll be honest. I'm a freak about my hair. I'll be honest, but
okay. You got good hair. You should appreciate it.
Well, I thank you, but sometimes like I'll be doing it or whatever, and I'll be like, this is not how I want it to look today. Like, so I'll just start over. I'll just wash my hair and I'll just start completely over.
I'm guilty. I've done it before. Don't feel like you're alone. You're heard, Patrick.
Thanks. I appreciate that. So how did you go from being more of an angry child to being the positive, optimistic, uplifting person that you are now?
Wait, what's crazy is, man, like I was mostly angry again, like we were talking about, because I wasn't sure who I was. And again, like I wasn't taught a lot of the rhythms of what it is to be, a thinker for yourself. It's just, again, something my parents didn't learn, but we had to learn as it went. And it was cool because as a family dynamic, we all kind of pitched in together and learned. And it's very cool to watch my parents' relationship, the reality of marriage. They're angry at each other, whatever. They try to fix it. They didn't watch their dynamic over the year grow. And there's days when they hate each other, just like reality is. And then there's days like, oh man, I love you so much, can't live without you. Okay, it's too much. Get off of me.
Yeah.
I'm sweating. I need you to get away.
Move.
Give us a rope. Yeah. So their dynamic was very interesting. But transitioning into that, I was just a very hyper conscious, vigilant person as well. And I felt like everybody at every moment was judging me. And there came a point where I'm just, and I lived with depression when I was a younger kid, just because, again, that's a lot of weight. And I put a lot of perfectionism, a lot of weight on myself, because I felt like if I didn't perform, then people wouldn't like me because I was a people pleaser and a fixer. So a lot of frustration came from that, and the frustration built because it's never good enough, never good enough. And I had coaches comparing me to my older brother, which my mama, thanks again, Mom, she would just call the coaches out. This is Aaron, this is not Israel. They're different people. They're made differently. Stop like calling him little Israel, little is. So my mom, again, she's a very strong woman.
Yeah.
But I think that reality is, I knew I had parents that loved me. They did the best they could. But over time, I feel like I was still genuine, but I was still dealing with a lot of demons in the darkness that I didn't know what to do with them. You have a supervillain and you have a superhero clashing against each other. You have a good side of town and a bad side of town. And so the point in that is you got to clean up the bad side of town to be able to become a whole person. If you don't deal with that, the bad side is going to overwhelm the good side. So I feel like throughout my life, I've learned, because I'm very conscious of myself, I know how I operate like you do, which that's why it's so fascinating. I love the brain, and which is the reason why I went into psychology. Started in music therapy. Then that transitioned. Sorry, I have a stutter too. But I transitioned into youth ministry, which that's fascinating, but I still kept my behavioral psychology and adolescent behavioral psychology, which is helpful today. Yeah. But I think that just overall, like I was always a genuine person that just meant well, and I loved people, but then at the same time, people just ticked me off and people set me off and triggered me. So it was just this mix. So I feel like once I got out of college, and there was a lot of cool things, going back, we could talk about the God thing. God he's always proven himself over and over, man. I got stories for days. I could just sit here and tell you all the crazy stuff that happened. Jeremiah 29:11. It says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, to give you hope in the future, not to hurt or harm you." So basically, he only has your good in mind. That's it. So anything that's bad in mind, it ain't from him. Yeah. But he's a good father, and he's going to order you and show you tempo and show you temperance and how it should go. But we have the right to say no, just like a child does. So, man, I could just sit here and tell you so many stories. Jeremiah, I was going to go to Spring Arbor, wasn't going to go. I went and visited, hated it. It was so boring. I told my mom, and Mom knows right. She was like, "Hey, you know what, Aaron? I just feel like you're going to go there." No, I'm not, actually. I hate it. So
wrong.
Wrong. I signed up for some other classes, and I actually losing my headphones. Still there?
Yep.
Sorry.
You're good.
So I was actually going to go run track at a community college, and I was signing up for classes, but randomly about midway through the summer, and I actually pulled my hamstring when I had some scouts watching me for long jump, and pulled it. First warm up sucked, didn't even get to finish, the day. So they just went home, and I was just really discouraged. But then my mom, every single day, before every track meet, before every baseball game, "Hey, be salt and light, be salt and light, be salt and light, be salt and light." Okay, I get it. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord." Jeremiah 20:11. Jeremiah, okay, Mom, I get it. So, but she beat that into her head because it's a very encouraging thing, if anything. Beginning of the summer, I get a postcard from Spring Arbor University. Hey, looking forward to having you here in the fall. I haven't even signed up for classes. So I just let it go. I'm signing up for other classes. Meanwhile, enjoying my summer. And Jeremiah 29:11 kept popping up everywhere, whether from church, randomly on YouTube, randomly, like it is now. They listen to us.
Yeah.
Or literally, I'll just literally open up my Bible and it's like Jeremiah 29:11. And I would on purpose, I would test it and kind of flatten the page and make sure that wasn't, and I would crease another page so it's not happen chance. And it just kept opening up the same. So then I'm about a little over halfway through the summer and praying about it. Okay, I'm kind of over Spring Arbor. I get a postcard in the mail. And remember, all summer, it's just been nothing but Jeremiah 29, Jeremiah 29, Jeremiah. I had a postcard in the mail, Spring Arbor again. Man, these guys are relentless. Leave me alone. Say, hey, looking forward to having you here in the fall. But out of everything in the world it could have been, there was a little verse at the bottom of the postcard.
It was Jeremiah 20:11.
And yes, it was Jeremiah 20:11.
Dude,
so
that's insane.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
it's just that's a simple, man. I literally could tell you I didn't have money to go to China to go over there to teach. No money. I just came back from a nonprofit organization in Indianapolis, which I got a film coming up next, on Monday. And I'm going to go to Indianapolis for the first time in what's been 8.5 years. So I'm going to see some people and do some filming out there. Yeah, I love the Circle City. But so I just got back from working at that nonprofit. Supposed to move to New York and do some acting and modeling out there. My roommate bailed on me, which is rough. So I just kind of stuck around Michigan for a bit that winter. Got super frustrated because my car died and my dad and I put a whole bunch of motors in. 3. I know it's not a whole bunch, but 3 motors in a car. None of them worked, which was nuts. So to me, it's just going, all right, well, I'm 2 hours from any friends. I'm stuck isolated with my parents. And if you have to be around your parents too long, maybe it's great. Maybe you're good with that. But after a while, just the reality is you just got to get away from it.
Yeah.
So from that point, I hung out there. I got an agent in Grand Rapids and ended up getting my first role, which was for a Lionsgate film here in Michigan when we had the incentives.
Mm-hmm.
So that one was with David Bautista and Danny Trejo and Amy Smart, whatever you name it. It was cool. I was a simple bartender.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a great first experience. But then I think that from that point, we just basically sat around the house all winter because I couldn't go get a job. I applied for like 50 different spots. And for some reason, I don't know what it was, I couldn't get a dang job. Literally 3 McDonald's, none. Didn't even get a job at McDonald's, for crying out loud.
Wow.
I don't know. I can't explain it, but I could not get a job. My parents could attest to it. So long story, I think that where it came down to it was I did the movie. That was fine. I felt like with the money, I don't know, it's just me and my heart. I had to give it away. So I gave it to a woman who I heard, a friend of my mom, whose heat got shut off in her business and her internet got shut off. So just give her that money and blah, 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 blah. There it is. But it's just a cool experience though at the end of it, because when China came around, like I said, I had no money. And I just feel like there was a testing ground in that season. Like you're saying, you look back in retrospect, like, oh, that's what that was for. Never want to go through it again. And for some reason you do. It's miserable. But I went, I had a buddy call me. I went to China in 2006 and he called me. This is 2010 at this point. And hey, Aaron, I'm out in China. Why don't you consider coming out here teaching? I'm going to New York. I'm still saving up money. I had no money. Like, I'm actually going to go. So he calls me, he gives me the details, like, man, that's kind of cool. That's kind of a good deal. They're going to take me out there and pay for me. But I needed about $4,000. Didn't have no money. And it was just one of those things. I'm like, all right, you know what, God, if you want me to go to China, you're going to have to provide because I don't have anything. Long story. I go for a walk of this 3-mile country block. And I get to this point, clouds are rolling in. I just remember very vividly. It's a dirt country road. And I got like, just, I need something. Give me something here. Am I supposed to go? Am I not supposed to go? And he said, I'll provide. And I just had this sense, this feeling that I just needed to look down. And so I scuffed my feet, kind of stop. I look down at my feet. I move my right foot. I see something round kind of buried in the dirt, in the gravel. So I bend over, I pick it up. Oh my word, it's a silver dollar. So I'm looking at him like again, right? Proper response you gave.
Yeah.
No, the head shake, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a silver dollar. And I just remember, whether in my head or whatever it is, he goes, I'm gonna provide. So I randomly, I kid you not, randomly had this dude come up to me in Walmart. I just feel like I'm supposed to give you this. Gives me $300, writes a $300 check. No joke.
What?
Yeah. So I need, let me see, like I said, I need $4,000.
Yeah.
So I'd actually, to go to New York, I'd kind of fundraised, and the church couldn't give it, that I had asked the church that I was a part of, and they couldn't give it at that moment. Anyway, so kid you not, after that silver dollar, 2 weeks later, it was like something like $600 or something like that. That came in. They said they were able to give it. Like they just didn't have the financing at the time they gave it. So I have that much. Now I needed a work visa, I needed flight, I needed apartment and all that stuff to take care of. My shots. My roommate and I were the only one out of 40 people. They got all of that taken care of. And our flight's taken care of. Bro, that's like $2,000 to fly to China.
Jeez.
It was super expensive. So that was paid for. Our stipend, our food. We had like a big food stipend every month. But it was unbelievable. It was just crazy how things started connecting. Oh, and that was another thing. Some drama happened at school, and basically they were saying I owed another credit, though I graduated 5 years prior. So I had to go back and kind of fight it. I got it taken care of. People were cool. I got my diploma. Now I have a $500 deficit. And in order to get my diploma, and in order to go to China, I need my diploma. Can't get my diploma because I have $500 I owe to school. School just ended up taking care of it.
Wow.
So I was good to go.
School never does that, dude.
Right. Oh, and then another one. Well, yeah, there was drama. But anyway, so then another one, a very faithful guy that's, growing up in the church. He's that guy. Oh, hey, there knows what's going on.
Yeah.
For all of my brothers. He's that guy.
Yeah.
He always had newspaper clips of everything we've done. Just a very faithful guy. Gary Crawford. Love you, buddy.
Gary?
Gary, shut up. Yeah, so he knew nothing about the situation. Nothing. He's just faithful. He ended up giving me I don't even know. I'm not gonna say for him. But yeah, he gave an amount of money that essentially put me to China.
Wow.
So took care of my work visa, took care of my passport. There's a lot of really cool stuff. But again, like I see that stuff, and I think that is what the faithfulness in those areas. Again, I have so many different stories. The faithfulness in that area is just really what has molded me and developed me, and it just really made me allowed to take my hands off.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it so many times. It's crazy. And why doesn't it happen to everybody? I can't tell you that. But what I do know is that it's always happening. But how tight are we holding on to stuff?
Yeah.
So sometimes if we're not letting go, we don't have open hands to receive.
That's a good point.
Reality.
That's a really good point, man. Jeez. Wow.
So
That's crazy, dude. That's crazy, man.
Robbie water.
Now, fast forward a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about Wolfhound?
You want to talk about that? I guess.
Are we able to?
Absolutely, dude. It's cool. No big deal. So Wolfhound just got picked up by Lionsgate, which is a great thing. Very exciting.
The movie looks sick, dude.
No, bro. It will be very good.
I'm excited to see it.
Me too. Well, I mean, the thing is, like, there is a lot of good things that came out of it. Michael Chait, the director, he's a genius. And one of the most, he's a genuine person too. He is present. He is a kind of person that just, you're around him and he just wants you to be better.
Mm-hmm.
So I honestly, I didn't have a large role, but it was one of my bigger roles I've ever had in a big film, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I moved to Grand Rapids area after I got back from China, 2013, got involved with a girl. That didn't work out, which is okay. Move forward. And I just felt like, man, I need to really get into acting. And that was really a pull because I listened to radio every day at work. And they had this woman on the radio just talking about Hollywood and how to pray for actors and actresses in Hollywood. And man, that's what I need to do. So eventually I got a role. I auditioned for Wolfhound and I did get that, which is cool. But moved up to Detroit and I filmed that in the summer. And man, it was one of the coolest things. We had bombs and guns and tripwires and legitimate outfits. And we were in this extremely hot in the middle of the summer, Patrick. There's no heat in B-17 bombers. So
yeah, I would be fine dripping in sweat being in a B-17 bomber, dude.
well, let's talk about that. There's 10 left. Last I knew, 10 left flying in the world.
And you got to film with one of them.
Dude, it's so
that's wild, man.
So dope.
Dude, World War II, man, that whole era and everything, like I have so much appreciation for it. And I want to do a World War II movie so badly because like I love that era and the history of it and the like every movie that comes out or series, whatever, I always watch it.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, it's just it's that like those men were men.
Yeah.
I mean,
what's a man?
Yeah, well,
I'm not a
well, these guys, the fact that the average age was like 19 years old going to fight a war across the world. I look at myself at 19 years old and was like, I couldn't have done that. No way.
No, I honestly couldn't either. I was going into college when I was 19 years old and I had no idea what I wanted to be.
Yeah. I knew I wanted to be an actor, but I mean,
really? That young?
Oh yeah, I knew I wanted to be an actor back in high school. I was first I was fooling around with the idea of wanting to become a detective at one point.
Okay.
But then I always equated it to like everything that I would see on TV or in movies.
Mm-hmm.
And then I spoke with a detective and they were like, yeah, no, it's like 95% paperwork. And I was like, oh. Yeah. I was like, all right, then. I was like, I'll just play him on TV then.
Like a Project Cora.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was just like, I'll just play it on TV, or I'll just try to play it in a movie then.
You did really good there too, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it was a small role, but it was fun. It was cool to kind of get stylized in that character, and
you and Bobby did so well. I loved it.
That was fun. Yeah, that was fun. It was fun working with him. I haven't worked with him in a while, and but he's also in our movie.
No, woo. Yeah, I love Bobby too, man. He's always just been down to earth and real too. He's another one of those guys. He's such a hard worker. There's a reason why he is where he is.
Oh, for sure.
Works. Yeah. There's a lot of people who want to be there, but they don't want to put in the work. They don't want to practice daily. They don't want to do any of that stuff. But,
yeah, you got to go after it, man. But yeah, and so
you wanted to do it young. That's cool.
Yeah, I knew that pretty early on. I mean, and even when I was a kid, I was always performing, for family and just like putting on, just putting on an act, all the time. And, but yeah, man, it was interesting. But I don't know. I lost where I don't remember what were we talking about? Oh, World War II stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. Oh yeah, with the 19 years old thing. Yeah. Okay, I got there.
Yeah.
Sorry. But yeah, dude, and I mean those guys that fought in that war.
Yeah. Man. Well, and that's one thing too, Patrick, that I'm a human being. I got my own issues, as we do. But I'm not going to use that as a justification to say I can't move forward. And I feel like in our generation, in our day, people don't know what grace or forgiveness is. People
Yeah.
mess up. And there's people who choose to continue to make the same mistakes. All right, those are people who don't want to get better. That's understandable when people say they've not grown. But
Yep.
then there are people who have grown so much because of things like you're saying, again, the retrospect, looking
Mm.
back, those trials, those errors, those things that we go through. But like, I just really want to do my best as a man to show what a man is again, like
Yeah.
teach that, show that, live that. But again, like I'm gonna have my mess ups, but part of being a man is owning up to that and saying I messed up.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
man. I
again,
I
everything's
agree.
everyone else's fault. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Not
And
I hate the whole victim mentality of, I don't have this and this and this because of this person and this person and this person and because of this and
yes,
this and this and this happened to me when I was a kid and blah blah blah. It's like, no, 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 no.
yep,
Like everybody is capable of creating the life that they want to live.
yes,
You either
absolutely.
do it or you don't. Um,
Precept.
yeah, man,
Yeah.
it's just, it's crazy. And to kind of get back to a little bit of the faith thing, have you seen the the latest attempt to get Chris Pratt canceled because of his Christianity?
That's so funny because I wasn't even aware of it until today. And a YouTube like, what's going on with Chris Pratt? And today I'm going, I love Chris Pratt and I love what the director is doing. He's going to bat for Chris. And I love that. And
Mm-hmm.
the whole cast and the crew are going to bat for him because they're trying to cancel him because what? He's a human being that doesn't agree with people. You're
Yeah.
allowed to do that. But the problem is cancel culture. Oh, don't get me started. You're not allowed to be every or anything that they're not. And if you
Yeah.
are, they're going to bully you. Oh, but you guys are bullying people. What? Cancel culture, excuse me. You bully people and manipulate and gaslight them to believe that they're terrible people for being a human being. I
You
could sit
ruin their
there and call
careers.
out, right, literally. And again, like the whole, I'm only keeping up with Johnny because Johnny is and has been one of my favorite actors. Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole Amber Heard thing. And that's the thing, though, too, because he's a great actor. He could be making everything up. But then the reality is, he was in an abusive, gaslit, manipulative marriage and relationship.
Yeah.
When you've been in one of those, you recognize it from a million miles away.
Yep.
And you recognize the rhythms, the attitudes, the looks, the manipulation. You just know, you feel those demons that are surrounding it.
Yeah.
And with him, like a lot of people wanted to cancel him. And again, he could be lying too. I don't know him personally. I'd like to shake his hand
Yeah.
and meet him. Just with The Rock too. It'd be kind of cool. Anyway, yeah. No, I mean, but it's just like cancel someone because they don't have your opinion. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
coming
It's the
also
freedom of
from
speech thing.
coming from a group where they also try to say that everybody needs to be tolerant of everyone. Well, you're not being tolerant.
It's hypocrisy. Exactly.
You know what I
Only if
mean?
it fits them.
Like, let
Yeah,
people live their lives and leave them alone. That's what I
exactly.
say.
I agree.
With the
Amen. Let's
whole
go to
with
church.
yeah, man, like with the whole like Johnny Depp thing, like um, you know, he's got some pretty heavy evidence that's in his favor of
Yeah.
things that she was just crazy. And you know, I think this is an incredibly important case. Yes, yes, they're two actors that are going through this case and blah blah blah. Like
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh, why are we focusing on all this stuff?" Okay, yes, I understand that. There's a lot of other things happening in the
Distraction.
world that are crazy.
Yep.
But at the same time, this is also a very important case for men to show
Yeah.
that even someone at his level,
Hmm.
like because when you think of domestic abuse, you never think of the man being the one that's dealing with
Right.
that.
Right.
You always think of it, it's always implied that they're the ones doing it.
Hmm.
So I think this is a very important case for that, to show that, oh no, it goes both ways.
Agree.
um but
Agree.
and to go back to the Chris Pratt thing, like I remember he tried to get canceled when I think Avengers Endgame came out, and or it was coming out, and it was during the election period of between Trump and Biden. And there was this political campaign where like a bunch of the Avengers Endgame cast members did this like virtual fundraiser thing
Yeah.
for Biden's campaign. Chris Pratt didn't attend.
That's okay.
He was filming something.
Yeah.
But people flipped out, calling him this conservative and saying, oh, well, he's this big, crazy conservative Christian who goes to a church that's anti-LGBTQ, whatever.
Yeah.
And what was really cool to see was Mark Ruffalo, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, I think Chris Evans, like all of them, like immediately put out messages saying, like he is one of the best characters out of anybody I've ever met. You know, if you can sit there and say that you're perfect, like if you can look at yourself in the mirror and say that you're perfect, well, then you must be God, because you know, before you judge him, look at yourself in the mirror. You know, like he is a great human being. So this is not the first time that they've tried to cancel Chris Pratt because of his face.
He's so funny too. I love it.
So funny.
He's awesome. Well, one of my heroes, my hero, he was around about 2,000 years ago. So he had this woman brought to him who was caught in adultery, and it was actually the religious leaders, and they brought her saying, hey, she was caught in the middle of adultery, so she's probably in a bathrobe or half naked or half stuff. Basically, she was just literally ripped out of her house, half naked in the act, threw her on the ground, and Jesus eventually goes, hey, if you religious leaders are without sin, here, you throw the first stone. No one could do it because they knew the reality that they had sin. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. They couldn't justify it. And another one is, look, before you go and judge a brother's sin, you got this 2x4, a plank it was called, in your eye. If you can imagine like swinging around hitting people with this 2x4 is obvious. Before you go seeing the speck of dust in your brother's eye, get the 2x4 out of your eye. Don't be a hypocrite about it. Stop calling people out about that stuff, right? Let's get straight to that.
Sheesh.
So that's my hero talking. He is wisdom.
Yeah.
Truth. But truth doesn't exist today.
Oh, dude.
Just saying.
It's like, it's gotten so bad, man.
Yeah.
Whew. But I don't know. I still have hope. I still have hope that we'll get to some level of centered living, you know. This, I feel like the world, more so this country, has become so polarized that I'm hoping we can find our way to the middle, you know, because that's where the work gets done. So
absolutely. You know what I like about you though, buddy?
What's that?
You
please tell me.
Is like we talked about, you're real, but then there's the reality with you that you can see darkness, but you can see the light through it. That's huge. Like, to me, that's a gift. I think that you, like myself and people with that personality type, can see through the darkness, see the better in people, see the hope, but we can't get caught up because it's so easy for us to want to fix everything. And we're not anybody's superhero. I've had to learn that the hard way, right?
I'm a fixer.
Oh, but that's where I've had to learn my own value. That's where I've had to learn my boundaries and say, here's my boundaries. Don't cross them, or you will know that you crossed them. So I'm one of the nicest people on earth. But if you step over that boundary that I clearly communicated with you, you're going to know you stepped on a landmine. Don't do it, please. I'm trying to let you know. Do not cross the line for your own safety. And I'm not going to hurt anybody. It's just, I want to enjoy that person, you know, because I want to enjoy everybody. But the reality is, again, if people are going to push what I communicated, I don't want pushed, then we're going to have an issue. But, I can't say that stuff. I'll get canceled. But speaking of truth. Yeah. Well, and you know, the Merriam Dictionary, 2018, gave America a title. And that title is post-truth. So everything is relativism. And relativism is just what's truth for you is truth for you. There's no absolution, which is an absolution in itself.
Whew.
So it's kind of like if the sun is hidden by the clouds, is it still there? Well, it's only, I don't see it, so to me, it's not. It's still there. It's always a truth. You wake up and you can't see it. It's still there. Do you have a brain? I mean, I heard people talk about that one. Can you see your brain? You can't? Oh, then you might not have it then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You can't see your brain, you don't have it.
It's almost like the whole, if a tree falls in the woods and no one's around to hear it, doesn't make a noise.
Right, exactly. Those philosophies. But it's just like the uncommonsensical. I see a lot of people that are so hungry for a leader.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. And that was my point with you, dude, is I think that you are gifted differently and you have a different armor than other people do. There's people who do not have patience to deal with people at all. They're not gifted with patience and kindness and gentleness. Those are hard things to work on. Where I feel like for you and I, we have a suit and armor to walk through more lava than most people can. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So again, what I just appreciate about you is like, even from whether it be a speech impediment, you just took what you knew and kept winning. As my dad would always say, he's like, you have a choice. You could either be a victim or you could be a victor.
And
he has every right to want to be a victim. But we have a lot of people named Karen. I mean, a lot of people in this world that they're so victimized. Oh, my life.
To all the really kind Karens out there, I'm really sorry that name has been completely bastardized for the Karen, the people named Karen out there that are actually really good people. I'm so sorry.
I know, amazing. Yeah. They're very good.
But no, dude, that's a good point though. Growing up, my dad's always said, no matter what troubles you're going through or whatever, you're always batting 1,000. You're still batting 1,000 because you've made it through every single thing, and that came from my grandfather. No matter what, any trouble that you've had in your life or whatever, look where you are now. You got through it, so you're batting 1,000. You're good, and you will continue to bat 1,000. So that's been a big one, man.
Babe Ruth saved Babe Ruth, man.
Yeah, dude.
He went down. He was a strikeout king, home run king for quite a while.
Yeah,
but he still kept swinging.
The great Bambino.
The great Bambino. Baby Ruth. What? Who is she?
Yeah, Baby Ruth. Sorry, that just made me think of the Goonies.
It's time to watch that movie again. Let's go.
Yeah, dude. Well, hey, man. Before we wrap up, let's get into the goods, shall we?
Let's do it. The goods.
Dun. All right.
Do you have a theme song for the goods or an instrumental that drops?
I actually have it's a little bit of it's like a continuation of my intro music, and then I have a little graphic, and it just like it shows like there's a black brick wall, and then in neon it says and then it slides to goods, and then with Aaron Noble, and then boom, the goods with Aaron Noble, and then here we are. Okay.
Well, I listened to your earlier stages of this, so you've done a lot with this since.
Oh, there's been so many changes, dude. I've even changed the logo up, everything. Yeah.
It's amazing. Looks great.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Numero uno. If you could cast, with yourself included, so you have 5 actors total in this cast, you're one of them, so you have to cast the other 4 yourself. Money's not an issue, anything. Who would you choose to work alongside?
Man, that's a great question. Like I said, I think because of his artistry, Johnny Depp. I've always wanted to meet Mark Wahlberg. The Rock. I'm giving you a bunch of answers. The Rock, of course. I mean, he's no kid. Who wouldn't? Yeah, I just think with Mark Wahlberg, for example, just because he seems like a very genuine, real person. He's always giving. When he shows up in Detroit, he's always just kind to fans, to people.
Yeah.
Maybe someday he's starting to step away and go more into faith-based films. It'd be cool.
That's what it seems like. I mean, he put up a lot of his own money for this Father Stu movie, which I want to see so bad.
Yeah,
Haven't seen
for
it
real.
yet.
Me too.
Haven't seen it. All right, number 2, numero dos. Where is one place that you would love to say you had to spend a year living? What is one place that you would love to go spend a year living that you have not been before?
Mm.
So not just to visit, you got to think about living there, you know?
Living, yeah, and that matters with food and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's my favorite thing. Europe is an obvious.
That's very broad, though.
I know it is a very big country.
Continent, really.
My next, yeah, I know. Yes, it is. My next place to visit, I want to be Germany. So Germany would be awesome to visit, but then I think I lived
You
in
want to go
China.
and visit the Germans?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm actually, I have some lines in my next movie that's in German coming on Monday. So
Hey, nice.
I had a roommate that's German, so they've been helping me out a little bit. Anyway, yeah, I think that been to Costa Rica. I think I could live in Costa Rica. Very touristy, but it's cool. I almost did live there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
it'd be dope.
All right. And then finally, what are some methods that you choose in your life to help keep you centered and grounded?
Just talked to a friend about this yesterday. If I don't have the gravitational pull of my soul, which is God, and I'm not in his presence, I get all over the place. That's just real talk. Because the manufacturer had a purpose on how he made the product, the present, the person. So I feel like if I'm out of tune with that, I am a very clangy string on a violin or guitar. So I think that just the simplicity of that meditation, I mean, even simple stuff as meditation is so crucial. So for me, it's being alone, making sure I know my balances, making sure I know my when to stop, when to say no, and to get alone. That's so important, especially as it becomes busy season with film here in Michigan.
Yeah.
You got a bunch of films, you got to take care of yourself as well.
Yeah.
So I'd say that, and then really keep exercising, because that's very, very important for the brain.
Yeah, you're not kidding, man. You're not kidding. All right, dude. Well, hey, that's all I got for this episode. I appreciate you being here, man. And I look forward to, one, we will do this again. But 2, I look forward to being on set with you, man.
It's going to be too much fun. As Isaiah would say, ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's ridiculous. I can't wait for this shoot.
He goes, he's like, Aaron, my man,
yeah.
What's going on? How's your day going, brother?
I love Isaiah. He's
another one of them people.
He's so cool, man. He's just such a nice person.
Yes.
Such a nice person.
Yes. He's a very good writer, very funny writer.
Yeah, for sure. Well, hey, man, thank you very much. Appreciate it, man. Until the next time.
You are amazing. Thank you so much for having me, bud.
That's it. Thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate it. As always, thanks for listening to The Good Life, watching The Good Life. Make sure to check the previous episodes out. If you don't know, if this is your first time listening into the show, check out to some of the old conversations that I've had. I mean, I've been able to talk to some amazing people. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.